Alright, so today I'm going to tell you about the day I rubbed my face with poison ivy. Now, it's kind of an extreme act. Not necessarily something I would recommend everyone try, but at the time, it seemed appropriate. So, we're on this trip, little RV trip, Wisconsin to Florida and back. We're on our way back. The whole trip, there'd been a lot of caution towards poison ivy. My girlfriend got it probably about 3 times when she was in her early 20s, and had told everyone how terrible it was. And there have been other stories other people had read about, worst thing in the world, blah blah. Really, 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 really don't want to get it. Blah 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 blah. I'm kind of just like, throw a little caution to the wind. If it's green, I'll try not to step on it. That sort of thing. But, about 10 days into a trip on our way back from Florida, we were at some campsite somewhere, and the girls, my girlfriend's daughter and my girlfriend's daughter's friend, they went swimming, and they came back, and as they were coming back, they were dragging their tubes, their little blow-up floaty tubes, through what my girlfriend said was poison ivy. And sure enough, the next day or whatever, my girlfriend's daughter's friend has poison ivy. And, everybody's a little... My girlfriend's daughter was really freaked out because she did not want that stuff. And so she's wanting to not sit anywhere or touch anything that her friend touched. And so it's this whole big thing, and we're getting ready to leave the campsite, and the tubes need to get deflated, and my girlfriend's refusing to touch the tubes because they were rubbing through poison ivy. And so I just took the tube that was covered in poison ivy, went, I rubbed my face and like, ooh, oh yeah, I love poison ivy, I love it. And, it was just sort of a statement move, because, I don't know, to me it didn't seem like any of the fear was appropriate. It's like, if you're a vibrational match to getting poison ivy, you're going to get poison ivy. And if you're not a vibrational match to poison ivy, then you're not going to get poison ivy. It really has very little to do with what you do or don't do. It has to do with what you believe and don't believe. And so, I didn't think that I was a vibrational match to poison ivy, so, I'm going to rub my face in it. Well, later on that day, coming back from a walk, I start to feel these tinglies on my face. Not like, ooh, I ate some spicy tingly, or ooh, I'm in love tingly, but ooh, there might be some poison ivy oil on my face tinglies. And so I was like, I started kind of, I felt them. And I sort of was like, all right. So I rubbed my face in poison ivy. And I'm gonna get poison, and then maybe I'll get poison ivy all over my face, and maybe it'll be really bad. But like, the worse it is, it's kind of like the better it is, because that just makes the story better. And so, it's really win-win either way. Either I don't get poison ivy, and then I'm a badass for not getting it, or I get poison ivy, and then I'm like, look who's a badass because he toughed out all this poison ivy. It's win-win either way. So, kind of went that road with it, and kind of thought about like, ooh, it'd be really like good focus to like have this all over your face and maybe all over your upper body, and just like have that, and have to find a way to focus through that and see like, see past the immediacy of what's happening to you and toward, where all that contrast, that if you get it, it's because you're a vibrational match, and if you're a vibrational match to it, it's then serving you. And so it's like, it would be interesting to see where all that poison ivy would take me. And, I don't know, the tinglers went away the next day, and then ended up never really experiencing poison ivy. And, I guess like 50% of adults don't really get the symptoms of it. The other 50% do, so, probably there's nothing to fear in the first place. But the bottom line is, I don't know what the bottom line is. It's just like, when something is being irrationally feared, sometimes I respond to it in a way of moving into that thing and showing that it's nothing to be afraid of. It was like the time when I was working at Chuck E. Cheese's, and we were a little bit of a debate in the kitchen about sanitation and how important that role was. Not necessarily in the kitchen, but in general. And because there was somebody who the ice machine was jammed, and somebody took a trash bag, laid the trash bag down over the ice, and then stomped on the ice to the. It wasn't the ice machine; it was the ice holder that poured down into the get your drink. So they laid the bag down, started stomping down the ice, and somebody thought that that was really insanitary. I'm like, well, sanitary, schmanitary. There's a whole garbage bag in between them and the ice. There's the garbage bag is sanitary, which it is. Then the ice should still remain sanitary. Nothing there to fear. But you know, I don't know. The debate kind of got escalated a little, and this was around the time that George Carlin's "You're All Disease" came out, where he said that, you know, he never gets sick because he's got a good, healthy immune system that gets a lot of practice. And, you know, he kind of elaborated on you know, when something falls on the ground, he eats it, even if it's during a soccer riot in Calcutta. And so I was sort of that ilk and thinking, you know, sanitation, sanitation, it's not that big of a deal. You know, I didn't know about vibration and stuff like that and wasn't along there, but I was just thinking, you know, the concept of if your immune system gets a lot of practice, your immune system will get good at taking care of your shit, and so there's nothing to worry about. And so the debate got a little escalated, and we started talking, and somehow it got to like I got to the point where I said that I would dip a popsicle in a toilet and then lick it, and just to prove that the sanitation was nothing to be afraid of. And you know, we happened to have popsicles at Chuck E. Cheese's. We had an ice cream machine, so we took a bomb pop, went over to the men's bathroom. My buddy picked a stall that he had taken a dump in maybe not even an hour before, looked clean enough to me, dipped it in there, and then started voraciously licking it in front of him and everybody else, you know, all the other coworkers that came along for the little thing, right in front of their faces. Like, oh my God, it's so many things to be afraid of. You can't have this sanitation, schmanitation. It's and you know, nothing came of that either. And so, you know, I don't know what it is about. There, you know, I think with certain things, when you get that sense that there's nothing to be afraid of, then that's true. And you can pretty much do those things. You can do whatever, if you get the sense that there's nothing to be afraid of, you can do that. You can eat shitsicles, you can rub your face in poison ivy, you can do whatever. If you get that sense, that strong, stable sense that there's nothing to be afraid of, you can do it. And I guess the moral of the stories are, well, I don't know what the moral is, but it's like, to trust. You got to trust what you feel, you know? If you feel something's not to be afraid of, then you got to go with it. And it doesn't matter how many other people say this or this or that and this or that. It doesn't matter. You just go with what feels right and what feels appropriate to you. And it can be a lot of fun. It can be a lot of fun being the only person who's not afraid of what everyone else is afraid of. And to just be that example of, you know, there's nothing scary all along. So yeah. That's my vlog for the day. Peace.